The Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity. The Indenture, 7th August 2022, 12:55 p.m. BST, London, United Kingdom. The Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity Charter. To move individually and together as Earth's guardians, custodians, and ambassadors in absolute integrity, impeccability, self-mastery, and alignment to divine principle and universal law, to align to divine will and the highest good of all. As God beings, to consistently activate, harmonize, and empower the inner divine feminine and divine masculine energies, and as ambassadors of the light, to embody our highest human potential and to help others do the same. To vigilantly monitor the quality, accuracy, appropriateness, clarity, and perception of our highest divine guidance, to ensure the highest alignment to the unified causal purpose and divine will. To embody the multidimensional glory of formed existence, to realize the illusion of this earth's physical duality and its state of impermanence, detaching ourselves from the illusion of this duality and holding a place of compassion, grace, neutrality, and knowingness that we are one with all energy. To serve in heart-centered unity consciousness and embrace every person and situation in authentic love, understanding, harmony, and compassion, seeing only the divine perfection in each person, experience, and manifestation. To humbly forgive ourselves and others for misjudgments we thought we have made or misperceptions that we have been hurt by another. To honor our higher mind as connected to the one heart of creation and unified consciousness field of infinite potentialities, and to be motivated and committed to the mission of co-creating a new earth paradigm of higher consciousness. To take the highest responsibility for our own individual advancement into self-mastery through personal contemplation and resultant transformation, to move forward in unwavering trust and faith that we are totally and completely supported in all aspects and levels of our life experience. To have unwavering courage to face down our fears while honoring them, loving them, and then releasing them to their higher energy forms. Forward. We, the human race, in recognition of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, affixed hitherto in direct and unequivocal divine brotherhood and sisterhood, association, alliance, and united within the oneness of the all that is, with the true Constitution and I Am One World Nation, declare the mighty I Am presence as the sole authority and governing presence of all God life. This includes all the elements, elementals, devas, and angelic hosts that support and sustain all God life here and there, on Mother Gaia. In this oneness of all that is, to live in acceptance of our true reality in the expressions of present human life circumstances, and with the awareness of greater things to come, fully engaging in revelation, self-realization, self-empowerment, and self-love within the love enfolding and the light illumining of the mighty I Am presence. We recognize the elemental basis of our lives, the foundation that protects, nourishes, and sustains life everywhere. To protect every cubic centimeter of land, water, and sky through love and respect of our outer world, and beginning with our inner world, which is our true connection to the source of life that makes up our bodies and the world we inhabit. To breathe the life-giving force of freedom, giving gratitude for the preciousness of breath that breathes freedom into our lives. How we wish life to be within ourselves, our families, and all God-free beings. To be one with the earth element and the nature kingdoms in all their wondrous glory and beauty, giving gratitude for our inner stability and peace when in connection therein, and facilitating our ability to heal the mind, body, and spirit of our life. To find comfort in the world, knowing the source of fire and its life-giving regenerative properties. Our joy of fire in all its vibrancy and warmth that expands, inspires, uplifts, and illumines the mind, body, and soul. To know the power of water and its rejuvenating vitality of all God life on earth, while offering gratitude for the purity of water that cleanses every cell of our being and feeds the fruit and vegetables, that returns abundant energy to live life with buoyant dynamism, health, and well-being. We are one. We are one. We are the law of one. We recognize the lower state of consciousness with which we have so much difficulty, that tremendous group life, which constitutes the personality, the hidden subjective personality aspect, that these apparent obstacles to the growth and development of the consciousness of the soul itself into our divine being, which it is only now becoming more apparent. The true power, the divine power, lies in the higher realms of consciousness, regardless of where a man or woman might be in awareness, in understanding. If within his or her heart there is love and inspiration, and within their mind there is that need to comprehend, to know, if out of the two of these there is some desire to be of service, then this man or woman can invoke into their own vehicle, into their own life and affairs, that higher power which will make possible his or her conscious service to the plan. One's divine life embraces all equally. One's compassion fulfills need, soothes and quiets torment, forgives and stops guilt, and finally transmutes the many shades of hate into an understanding love. One's mind, brain, and nervous system organize truth in the construction of that new way of life which humanity is seeking. Building a new form of thought here, a new automatic response there, a new quality into one's relationships, a new clarity and purpose into one's words, and finally a new life form altogether. Preamble. Truth is the clarion call needed for the preservation of humanity. While justice is the underlying Christ mandate for truth to prevail, and where wisdom is the paramount priority for knowing the direction for humanity to truly be free. There is enough evidence to the failing of a society as there is to the death of a human being when the spirit no longer resides within that body. Spirit, God, universal intelligence, whatever name chosen to express the truth of who we are and of our origins, has been absent from the conversation too long, and has proven that without truth at the foundation of a human being or society, this reality is its eventual demise. We are a free people when we know we are free and act accordingly, in truth, justice, and wisdom for everyone and everything, including the elementals that support the ground we traverse, the air we breathe, the water we drink, as well as the heat and light that makes it all possible. The law of freedom. The law of freedom is that movement which enables human beings the space to expand and grow in their ability to function in a manner that will allow others their freedom and space to grow, in order to free still others. Freedom is not a final state of being, but an ever-expanding action of giving each other the space to create spaces for others, to create more spaces for still others yet to come. Freedom may be helped or hindered by human laws, definitions, principles, descriptions, disciplines, and boundaries. However, universal laws free each and every one within a unification of an environment of divine synthesis instantaneously when activated from a rightful application to God life. Any law which does less than this is subject to the rule of a greater law. No one is free until each is free, and all are freeing each other. This declaration for the freedom of humanity is addressed to all humanity. The purpose of this declaration is to remind and awaken the awareness within humanity's mind back to the truth of our connection to the universal consciousness and natural laws, to promote freedom for the entire human family, and to create a world community of peace and freedom. Master Saint Germain states, "The root essence of every human being is love, wisdom, power, justice, joy, fulfillment of every need, and most of all, freedom." The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Earth Charter, United Nations, states, "All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and all are endowed with reason, conscience, and conviction that all share a common humanity that unites them beyond all that differentiates and separates them. Their identity as members of the human family is their most fundamental identity." As we move from the age of false authority to one of experience and enlightenment, people seek for others what they demand for themselves: the right to freedom of thought, speech, and worship, and the right to those conditions of life that will permit full expression to the dignity, equality, and brotherhood/sisterhood of all humanity. The principle of freedom. It has been said that standing behind the Trinity of light, love, and will, which represents the highest conception of divinity of which humanity is capable, there lies another greater principle. This is the principle of liberation, of which humanity's demand for freedom is a faint and most inadequate reflection, but nevertheless to which it is a clear and definite response. All life seeks liberation. Our modern struggle for human rights is a response to the direction of life itself, and this is its essential meaning. However imperfect the expression, and however crude the attempt, the search for human rights in larger freedom is, in the last analysis, one of the most profound spiritual impulses in all human history. Yet, human rights do not exist in a vacuum. They must find expression in a complex and worldwide network of human relationships. It is the intention of this declaration to establish the goal and act as a magnet for thought. The law may compel a certain observance and restrict, limit, and punish the grosser forms of abuse. But no law or declaration can, on its own, change human thinking, eliminate blind prejudice and self-interest, or create that atmosphere of sisterhood and brotherhood and goodwill in which the full expression of human rights can be achieved. The observance of human rights depends on the establishing of right human relations, where right human relations are based on tolerance, understanding, and goodwill, on a sense of responsibility for the welfare of all, and on a willingness to accept, indeed welcome, the immense diversity of humankind, and to love freedom, which enables that diversity to flourish within the unity of the greater whole. Transforming human consciousness. If the expression of human rights depends on the establishing of right human relations can only be established by the development of a more inclusive consciousness. Today, this transformation of humanity is underway. Human rights, though enshrined in many national constitutions, at present are far from being adequately established or observed. Attitudes of prejudice, greed, fear, and suspicion that continue to poison the relationships between individuals, groups, and nations must now dissolve and be transmuted, revealing the spirit of truth and freedom. Perhaps the most disturbing trend and gravest problem facing humanity at this moment is the growth of extremism. Our worldwide problems of race relations, poverty, ecological imbalance, war, and disarmament, and our failure as yet on a world scale to provide meaningful education to all of the world's children, have combined to create massive frustration. The downtrodden and dispossessed, fired by the vision of freedom and human rights, can wait no more. Extremism is a last resort reaction to the perpetuation of intolerable conditions. It can stir the lethargic to constructive action, and there is evidence that the extremity of human crisis is doing just this. But it is also a tragically double-edged weapon, feeding hatred and violence, deepening old cleavages, creating new ones, and destroying the already tenuous fabric of relationships that have been built across areas of conflict. Extremism today could get out of hand and totally disrupt society, destroying not only the present inequity it seeks to liberate, but the new society which its exponents seek to create. The issues are finely balanced. The men and women of goodwill are urged to take immediate and effective right action. The necessity for human rights. The human race is therefore faced with a number of decisive issues. First, the question of freedom and human rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights embodies many of the principles on which the new golden age must be built and anchored within human consciousness to enable manifestation within the greater humanity. Second, the necessity for right human relations, which can only be established through the generation and worldwide distribution of the energy of goodwill. Third, addressing world problems that stand in the way of human progress. Unless humanity understands the true nature of these problems, they will never be solved, and this understanding calls for a continuing educational campaign. Service. These are tasks in which all can share. For while no one can tell another how he or she should serve, it is essential to point out that the need today is for dedicated servers in every field of human activity. Service is indeed a glorious undertaking. It is lasting, for every act of service is written in everlasting letters of fire in the Akashic book of your life. The greatest yoga is service. The greatest religion is service. The greatest act is that act done in service. What is service but love in practical action? By your service, you can throw a dazzling beam of scintillating white vibrant energy into the darkness of a suffering world and raise it. One person who is rendering true spiritual service to those who need it is worth 10 who retreat from the suffering of others in order to bring about a state of joy and peace within themselves. Service is the lasting flower in the garden of enlightenment. Service is the jewel in the rock of attainment. Shine your God-given light now to show you the way forward from here. Expansion of human potential. The time has come for Earth and the human race to make their shifts into higher consciousness and higher realms. It is time to initiate pathways to create and activate the new foundational platforms from which to trigger transformational shifts of perspectives, not only within nations, but the world. To help lift the evolution of an entire solar system, and in so doing, to reinstate and raise the elementals, devas, and angelic hosts, the animals, plants, insects, and mineral kingdoms, and all other beings of light and dimensional realms. For no one will be left behind in this human and earth evolutionary plan. Recognition that the law of freedom is that movement which enables all entities the space to expand and grow, and their ability to function in a manner that will allow others their freedom and space to grow, in order to free still others. Freedom is not a final state of being, but an ever-expanding action of giving each other the space to create spaces for others, to create more spaces for still others yet to come. Recognition that freedom may be helped or hindered by human laws, definitions, principles, descriptions, disciplines, and boundaries. Recognition that no one is free until each is free, and all are freeing each other. Recognition that every human being is born equal and born a divine being of God with equal rights to freedom. Recognition that freedom is an inherent and inborn divine quality of every human being, and cannot therefore be granted or given, denied or taken away by any government or authority, but can and must be protected at all times. All life is precious. Recognition that every human being, indistinctive of color, nationality, race, culture, or religion, are all equal members of humanity and are equal parts of the one human race. Recognition that all members of humanity are one family within the human experience, and that when acting against another family member, one is acting against one's sovereign self, and therefore hurting the whole. We are prompted to move, each in our own way, not only for the reason of undertaking our earthly works, but related to the importance of understanding how one's energies are depleted and restricted when remaining too long in a single place, situation, circumstance, belief pattern, or way of life. Some have called it a move away from familiarity. A more adaptive approach is to see it as a move away from being stuck in limitation. So, to realign with the movement of the universes, first you have to change your mindset, to distance yourself from that which has limited what you have been in the past. The limitlessness of human potential, which allows expansion, is facilitated through constant movement and change. just as the planets and stars are in physical motion. Movement or change continues to take one outside of one's comfort zones and the extremities of old patterns of belief, habits, rituals, and customs, in all their myriads of forms, such as religion, world administration, financial programming, media conditioning, or simply the repetition of everyday routine and life. Movement or change is key for expression and freedom. It offers security and protection through the very implementation of placing one's self into the most vulnerable and innocent of positions, facing your fears, dear ones. The divine attitudes of faith and trust are reinforced time and time again, and the confidence to journey inwardly or outwardly to encourage the excitement of the journey and now experience through strangers, friends, family, spirit, earth, and of course God, and expressions of universal flow. When the universe and self are in total unity, through the same matter and antimatter that make up the universe, you and your outer world will expand and create, revitalize constitutional and foundational structures. Your thought forms will radically become so much more expansive than that of any old human paradigm. It will amaze you beyond worlds. The macrocosmic fields of creation are all within you and expressed through the microcosmic realities of your being. Expand your beliefs and perspectives of what God is. Open the heart-mind into being, and you shall begin to see, understand, and feel more clearly the benevolence of the macrocosmic alignment and fusion with the microcosmic self of you. What does God ask of you? Nothing. What do you ask of God? You ask this: what movements or actions can we, human beings, take to co-create an alignment with God's will through us as the microcosm of the macrocosm? Now you know the answer. Gently, with ease and grace, move away from living in the old human paradigm of doing. Your own higher consciousness will guide you always when you're listening, seeing, feeling, and sensing from your heart center. Love thyself first. For without you loving yourself 100% first, how can you truly, with your hand over heart, say you love another? If you do not heal yourself first 100%, how can you indeed heal another? This is the law, and know this truth, for it shall be your guiding light. It is time to consolidate, refine, and define your life to 100% divine love. With this achieved, your path and purpose flow from that place of wholeness. It is time to awaken to our new reality. We are now living in a mighty reality. The laws of life are acting with great speed within and all around us. Understand this action of the great law is constantly going on within and all around us. The inner action of opening our eyes continues, directed by our higher mental body. When our call is heartfelt, honest, and authentic, when our knowing is earnest, natural, and unaffected by the outer world, then will our higher mental body be released through our heart with the emotional projection of love eternal and more of its mighty energy of light, which dissolves and consumes all unlike itself and will become part of our world. Life in pure consciousness. Signing upon the Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, we are exemplifying and operating from pure consciousness. It was the mission of Jesus to break down the mental constructs, structure of servitude forming ritual. He came to fulfill the law. Jesus spoke of the true law of God and not human rules, for those are hindrances to the expression of spiritual life. As souls gather here, we turn to the great central sun in love and consciousness, asking sincerely from our hearts to fulfill the Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity. Accepting the Christ life and substance, the Spirit of truth, we hold to this truth of Christ consciousness, life in a meditative form, living in the present moment, the state of pure awareness. We are all interrelating, interacting, and interdependently working together in harmony, rhythmically and in the divine synthesis of an Ashramic group in divine economy. For God is love, the purpose behind all being and creation, moving into the golden age in God's guidance upon divine laws and divine virtues that function and operate through every individualized expression of God, the infinite I Am. Proclamation. We, the people of the new I Am One World Nation, make this declaration for all people, regardless of color, race, gender, faith, credos, principles, doctrines, dogmas, and beliefs, political persuasions, ensuring the law of one becomes the foundation of this evolving human race through loving means, peaceful means, joyous means, and giving and receiving means, where the law of forgiveness shall be our watchwords to set all God life here upon the planet free. We rise up in the name of God I Am, to live every precious moment positively. We rise up in the name of God I Am, to prevent our world resounding with the echo of chaos gone wild. We rise up in the name of God I Am, in our divine trust and faith in all God life, as husbands and wives, as fathers and mothers, as sisters and brothers, as men and women. We rise up in the name of God I Am, to dedicate our I Am presence to the responsibilities of the true Constitution and I Am One World Nation that we will decree and assign our energies to. We rise up in the name of God I Am, not only for ourselves, but for every man, woman, and child, for every element, deva, and angelic host, for every sentient life stream in all of the 4 lower kingdoms. We rise up in the name of God I Am, for this indenture shall be the textbook of freedom, the Bible of the rights of men, women, and children forever. We rise up in the name of God I Am, for this declaration will go forth into the I Am One World Nation of hearts forever, and speak to those hearts as the voice of God, and its work will not be done until throughout all of God's creation, every single square inch of ground, time, and space is uplifted and sanctified. We rise up in the name of God I Am, to use the 12 divine gifts to renew and revive our beloved Mother Gaia into our I Am One World Nation, using the rightful application to God life, divine faith, divine strength, divine love, divine wisdom, divine will, divine power, divine imagination, divine understanding, divine order, divine zeal, divine regeneration, and divine illumination. We rise up in the name of God I Am, as the will of God, in the love enfolding and the light illumining of the mighty I Am presence in all our thoughts, words, and actions. Ratification. The ratification for the signing of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity herein contained is in accordance with cosmic law and the law of the circle, where three truths shall be declared and made manifest herein from within the great silence, none of which shall be deemed an ego personality claim, assertion, or statement. 1. The human I Am presence, the spirit of the signatories. 2. The human Akashic Scroll records as presented in the form of a physical manifestation of their signatures as their fingerprints. 3. The physical manifestation as their handwritten signatures, the human individualized expression of their incarnational self/selves through the synergetic energy of their true self through their signatures/handwritings. These qualifications of three truths within the human body, which have not changed since time immemorial, or in other words, of the first existence of the individualized self physically born upon a physical world, any world within the cosmos, until today, but not limited to any future incarnation, are heartfelt parts of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, which is affixed hitherto in direct and unequivocal divine brotherhood and sisterhood, association, alliance, and united within the oneness of the all that is, with the true Constitution. To this extent, it has been elected that the writing of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity in full, in one's own handwriting, ready for its signature and thumbprint on the day of execution, shall be a prerequisite. In other words, to assign one's signature and thumbprint to this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, to make it your own, thereby assigning your energies to it, upon the day of this execution, or any day in the future thereafter, as part of your own soul or soul family agreement with God, thus giving your full and undivided commitment and devotion to this God Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity's cause, will then place your divine synergetic energies to it in accordance with cosmic law. The rightful God application and implementation of this transcription effort, completed within the true essence of one's soul and I Am presence intentions, shall be sufficient for the establishment and grounding of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity between all other peoples and universal beings of the earth doing the same, hereafter called the I Am One World Nation, and all member worlds, galaxies, universes, and cosmoses, and beyond, ratifying herein the same. Such a handwritten declaration for the freedom of humanity shall be your own record that shall be placed automatically upon your own Akashic Scroll records for all to see beyond this time and space, in all dimensional realities past, present, and future. It is accepted and acknowledged that according to cosmic law and God's divine will for humanity here upon earth, that a cosmic cherubic host, the seraphic host, and the angel devas have volunteered the divine services to become a matrix or cup within their bodies that shall hold the word of God and the messages of God presented herein, but not limited to it, both seen and unseen, releasing and receiving them from the heart of the great perfected beings, not only before it is spoken, but also after it is recorded through the vital energies of the forebearers of truth within all human races, higher supporting God intelligences of all seven spheres, and the body of this new human living organism, now known as the Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, affixed hitherto in direct and unequivocal association, alliance, and united within the oneness of the all that is, with the true constitution, into the substance of the ethers and the realms of Akash. Herein this word and across the cosmoses, in accordance with God's cosmic law and will. Here it shall hold forth to become like 1,000 suns throughout this earth, this solar system, this galaxy, this universe, this cosmos, and beyond, which shall radiate the sacred Christ white firelight substance of the God Father's light and the God Mother's love, constantly from this time forth, incrementally increasing in magnitude and intensity at the highest radiation that cosmic law will allow. It is proclaimed herein that any person, group, or community, culture, race, indigenous or aboriginal, tribe or clan, religious denomination, world foundation, organization or government, nation or nationality may use this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity affixed hitherto, in direct and unequivocal association, alliance, and united within the oneness of the all that is, with the true constitution to adhere to, in accordance to their own free will, to assign their energies or not, to unite with this God divine plan, may add, subscribe, pledge, promise, advocate, endorse, favor, ratify, validate, approve, sanction, or sponsor this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity to their own God plan in accordance with God's will and cosmic law. All may attract or magnetize anyone to unite with this human endeavor, but never to persuade, encourage, influence, induce, convert, or coax anyone to join. This united endeavor shall comply only in accordance with cosmic law and the laws of nature, which govern over any such force or persuasion of action against it, whereby any such use of energy of whatsoever nature shall be governed only by the cosmic laws pertaining to it. This includes no additional clauses, sections, or amendments, no word or sentence, no meaning or definition, but not limited to them, shall be deemed valid or binding in part or full of this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity without first a petition by an authorized and qualified body, such as, but not limited to, the Christ offices of the original order of Melchizedek, to apply for a grant and dispensation to make any such changes, alterations, or additions herein to the Karmic Board of Directors for their expressed authority and endorsement thereof, to do so all in accordance to cosmic law. The signatures herein are executed and sanctioned through this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity indenture, contract, treaty, or agreement, and through the granting of such petition delivered to the Karmic Board of Directors, as the I am freedom for this earth and solar system, for its granting and the cosmic dispensation to authorize such a declaration for the freedom of humanity, and by the unanimous consent of all beings concerned and present. For this consecration and celebration, this day, physically and etherically, the 7th day of August in the year of our Lord, the planetary and solar Logoi, the one in whom we live, breathe, and have our being, here on earth and within the heavens, the Father's, Mother's house, and their mighty mansions. 2022. In witness to this Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity, we, the original 57 signatories affixed herein, who have heavenly vowed to this God cause, have pledged to our presences to accept, resonate, and radiate the love, wisdom, and power of the mighty I Am Presence, in the name of God, the Mother's love, and God, the Father's light, in the name of beloved Jesus the Christ, and in the truth of our divine souls and beingness, in divine joy, happiness, abundance, and beauty for all, uniting together, representing all one people within the I Am One World nation of this new earth paradigm. Affirm our life energies herein to it. Representing all one people within the I Am One World nation of this new earth paradigm. Affirm our life energies herein to it. We call forth beloved peace and blessed aloha to now unseal these actions, intentions, and prayers, accepting that this activity of light is God victoriously accomplished in the sacred holy now instant that will be intensified and magnified moment by moment to the maximum that cosmic law will allow, until the new living group organisms, the sacred bodies of humanity everywhere, are returned in every way back to their God design for all life streams, the radiance of the sacred Christ white fire electronic light substance. In God's holy grace, it is done. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the soul, so the universe. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am grateful. I am grateful. I am God grateful. This indenture, affixed hitherto, has been signed and sealed by its original signatories, along with mighty peace and aloha, upon the date, the 7th day of August 2022, 12:55 p.m., London BST, which ensures its fixed design and God creation, untouchable, immutable, unchangeable, undeniable, and ever expanding until all of God life is free here upon this planet. As this declaration for the freedom of humanity is to be claimed and inaugurated by those human souls around the world who deeply resonate to it, to give it further divine power, in love and wisdom, and who wish to add their own personal and divine God individualized expressions of universal consciousness to it through their own handwritten signatures and thumb or fingerprints as a personal record that will be placed upon their soul, Akashic scroll, or book of life entries in the etheric realms. These following pages then have been left blank for that purpose. The reason the original signatories have been removed is because this claiming of one's own human rights that have been God-given must come from one's own effort and inner work first, to know that they are God-free beings. Know thyself first. It is not of anyone else's concern at this first stage of who the original signatories are, but rather that of the individual's sole creative desires herein and after, is what shall raise human consciousness to universal consciousness, is what truly shall make the difference to speed up the freedom of all human and God life here upon planet Earth. The unification of the people and divine force field of this declaration will co-create and in cooperation with each other expand this declaration for all souls to identify with and align with cosmic laws and the principles of freedom as shared in the true constitution of the I Am One World nation. And so it is. The Declaration for the Freedom of Humanity. the indenture signatory addendum affixed hitherto, the above original indenture, signed 7th August 2022, 12:55 p.m. BST, London, United Kingdom. In witness to this declaration for the freedom of humanity, we, the signatories affixed herein below, who have heavenly vowed to this God cause, have pledged to our I Am presence to accept, resonate, and radiate the love, wisdom, and power of the mighty I Am presence, in the name of God the Mother's love and God the Father's light, in the name of beloved Jesus the Christ, and in the truth of our divine souls and beingness, and divine joy, happiness, abundance, and beauty for all, uniting together, representing all one people within the I Am One World nation of this new earth paradigm, affirm our God life energies herein to it. We call forth beloved peace and blessed aloha to now seal these actions, intentions, and prayers, accepting that this activity of light is God victoriously accomplished in this sacred holy now instant, that will be intensified and magnified moment by moment to the maximum that cosmic law will allow, until the new living group organisms, the sacred bodies of humanity everywhere, are returned in every way back to their God design for all life streams, the radiance of the sacred Christ white fire electronic light substance. In God's holy grace, it is done. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the soul, so the universe. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am grateful. I am grateful. I am God grateful.